another season. If it doesn't come out, it will be the end of the year. And so now every one of these drivers has gone off their road and they have.
It's gonna be a blast, and my gosh, can we not wait for that one?
Good evening, race fans. I am David Westergreen. With me for now is Emily Harlan, and hopefully Dom will be able to join us later. Welcome to Richmond, the penultimate race for the ERSCA Belly Up Chase for the Cup, the Buttkicker 200. Richmond, a short track, but it kind of drives like an intermediate. I think we're going to see a lot of green flag racing tonight, Emily. I don't know if you do get a chance to go down to pit road that you'll be all that busy tonight.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, David. I just kind of had a feeling that not going to get very many cautions tonight. And that's all right. It seems like everyone likes to kind of have a clean race as much as possible, even though it means not hearing from me so much. But I'm all right with it. I can't believe we're getting down to the wire here. Only 2 races left in the chase. So definitely this one is going to be an exciting one for everyone to watch here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Ryan Lutz is going to be kind of the man in control and the guy to watch this race. He's very good at these short tracks, Lutz is, and he's very, very good at tracks where you have to roll out of the throttle early and kind of keep that corner speed high. A lot of the guys just don't have the same level of speed that Ryan Lutz tends to have at these tracks. And with that points lead, he's going to be extremely aggressive, I think, trying to seal it off tonight.
Definitely. I was thinking the same thing. As far as making a pick here tonight, I feel like I've been kind of all over the place with who I've been picking, but I was going to go with him tonight just because I have a feeling that he's going to do really well here. But who would you say is going to be his biggest competition out here on this track tonight?
Well, I got told by Chris Wright in a Discord call a couple of weeks ago that we need to watch out for Nick Massey. Massey was the last time's winner. Oh man, I'm not picking Lutz yet. Emily picked Lutz. Whoa. Can't do that. Massey was told. Now Massey told Wright that he's the one, and he won our last race at Richmond last season. So Nick Massey's kind of, I think, probably the best pick, but I don't think he's going to be my pick. I think my pick's going to come from a little deeper in the field. I'm going to go with Tate Lytle, picking it up at Richmond. I think maybe some of these guys start battling it out, and it opens the door for somebody back there.
Interesting. I think that's a good pick. I like the kind of, ones that we wouldn't necessarily have at the top every single week. So I like Tate. I think that's a good pick. Is Carlos going with his tried and true of who is it? Cameron Rich?
Cameron Rich every week. I don't know, Carlos. You should have started the season with us, because that way. Oh, Carlos switched it up this week. Switching to Bayuk? No. Oh, he faked us. He's still going Cameron Rich. You should have started the year with us.
All right.
I guess Bayuk on track for qualifying here, and let me bring in Dom Santina one time, and then we'll send Emily off to pit road. Dom, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, David.
Dom, who's your pick tonight, man? It's Richmond.
All right, do we have anyone else pick yet?
Emily's got Lutz, and I've got Tate.
Okay, let's see. Let me think about this. Why not? I'll go with... Let's go with Johnny Thomas. Go on a limb here.
Ooh. I think Richmond has 2 kind of possibilities is generally my thought process at Richmond. It either goes very caution heavy where you get a lot of people running over each other, not giving each other room, or it goes green for a really long time. I think Johnny is maybe the pick if it doesn't go green for a long time here. So with that, we'll observe the qualifying order once they get finished with their 2 laps. I think tires are going to be less of a factor than per usual at some of these short tracks. I don't know that these guys are going to abuse their tires a lot, and I think the green flag runs may let us, see only a couple of 4-tire pit stops throughout the day.
It's definitely going to be interesting for sure. We'll see how it all plays out. Just 2 races left to go.
Yeah, Nick Massey is one of those guys there that we had our eye on. He's going to be one of the ones to watch tonight. Chris Wright said Massey was going to be the favorite tonight. Ryan Lutz would have something to say about that, but definitely gets a little loose there in qualifying. I think things are going to be extra slippery out there tonight. I think it's a warm summer night for a Richmond race. Ryan Lutz currently on the provisional pole alongside my pick, Tate Lytle. So Emily and I looking strong early. Hank Steinmiller trying to put the 63 up near the front. We haven't really seen him make it up that far yet this year. I'm a little bit surprised because Hank usually has some good speed.
Like that onboard shot right there. Seeing how Hank drives from inside the car.
It's funny, Hank has the field of view that Hank runs with is like he puts his chin on the steering wheel. And I know that for a fact. If you hit cockpit, I think it actually does show that. Potentially. But maybe not. Dom says it doesn't. So, yeah. Hank runs with a different FFV than everyone else, and it's just another thing that some of these guys can go out and adjust and get an advantage over their competitors. And for Hank, it's comfortable to run up really close like that. For some, I've heard it's comfortable to run further away with a further field of view. And he laying down a lap in the 6 car. Just looking at the times, I think did Ethan Burrell either get a lap in that's really slow, or yeah, he's in P20s. I wonder if Ethan Burrell is struggling with the racetrack a little bit. Burrell and Bayuk both very back of the field in qualifying. Nick Massey doesn't even get a lap down. So he'll be coming from the back to try to make up ground on Ryan Lutz, who now wins the pole and extends his points lead. So we'll get the starting lineup. There it is. Ryan Lutz, Tate Lytle, number 1 and number 2 on the grid. Colin Fambro and Gerald Campbell, 3rd and 4th. Dallas Myhan's going to qualify it in 5th with Thomas Sherman. Then Chris Wright, who's 3rd in points, but he's going to need a pretty big miracle to get things back to Ryan Lutz. Dylan Thomas, Ryan Lutz's teammate there in 8th. Brandon Scott 9th, and Johnny Thomas, Dom's pick, in 10th. Harrison Talon and Josh Adams round out the top 12. 13th will be Robin, 14th Hank Steinmiller, 15th Matthew Weeks. Looking back through the rest of the field for some notable names, Scott Crump didn't really get going in qualifying. He'll be 20th. Ethan Burrell, 21st. Matthew Bayek, 22nd. A couple of chasers didn't even get laps in, and James Heater. And on the next sheet is Nick Massey as well. And there he is. Massey way back, starting 27th. Cameron Rich, 26th. Leininger didn't put down a lap. Josh Clark didn't put down a lap. Let's see if these guys can make up ground going forward. 33 cars entering the Buttkicker 200.
Yeah, definitely not going to make it easy on themselves, trying to track down some points here early, and they're already putting themselves at a deficit. Going to have to work their way through the field.
So with that, just the 2 chasers at the front of the field, Lutz and Lytle. I wonder, Carlos, do we have a graphic for the points? I think it's a 23-point lead for Lutz. I will pull them up. So get that exact number. This is also the final race of the Buttkicker Short Track Showdown, which, if I can also, I believe, see the point standings for that. It's a 21-point lead from Ryan Lutz to Chris Wright and 22 to Nick Massey. So 1 point separating Wright and Massey, but also Ryan Lutz won the pole. So it's 22 points. That's 22 positions on track, 33 cars out there. If Ryan Lutz finishes 11 spots higher than Wright or Massey, he would theoretically lock up the title, presuming that only 33 guys show up next week. going to be very, very close, I think, for Ryan Lutz. He just needs to keep all the fenders on that 36 car in both of these last 2 races to lock it up.
Yeah, and the question comes into your mind, does he play it conservative tonight? But if we've learned anything, and David, you know this very well, with Ryan Lutz, is that he's going to go out and he wants to win this race tonight.
Yeah, he does. He's going to do everything in his power to win it, go ahead and lock up the title, do everything in his power. He's going to try to lead every single lap. That is what Ryan Lutz does, especially at these short tracks. He's also got his eye on the Buttkicker short track showdown. Nick Massey, currently the points leader on that. Chris Wright, Ryan Lutz, and Cameron Rich, really the 3 cars able to, or I guess the 4 cars able to still win it, though technically still alive are Josh Adams, Matthew Weeks, Gerald Campbell, and Brandon Scott. Little payday there that we can keep our eye on. This is the final race for that. Next week, the final race of the season. Base car is off. Ryan Lutz gets on it. We are green for the Buttkicker 200 at Richmond, and Lutz is already gone around Tate Lytle. He'll pick up that bonus point for leading a lap, and that will be huge in him extending his lead over Chris Wright. Well, next lap, here comes Gerald Campbell trying to sneak around Tate Lytle. Lutz already way gone. He's way out in front of these guys. 36 car looking very fast early.
There you go, David. Got a little ahead of yourself, but there is the official lap lead for Ryan Lutz, so he'll pick up that bonus point.
Yeah, I think Ryan Lutz might be the only guy I've ever seen that would just probably never looped it at Richmond on his own as the race leader. Dylan Thomas and I believe Dallas Myhan battling side by side back in the field a little bit. And Campbell going after Tate Lytle for second.
31 car on the move, trying to clear. Lytle couldn't do it. They'll stay side by side down the backstretch.
Gerald missed race 1 of the chase to attend the birth, I believe, of his son. Great reason to miss, but it put him in a kind of a hole there throughout the chase that he has been unable to make up points-wise. So Gerald just out here going for race wins. Dylan Thomas takes over 5th from Thomas Sherman. And side-by-side battles throughout the field. Brandon Scott and Johnny Thomas side-by-side. My hand kind of falling back a little bit in that 13 car. Yeah, I wonder how much this outside line might come in. You know, a real-life Richmond, you can kind of run that top groove. But on iRacing, it tends to really not come in. It tends to be very much a bottom-feeding track. Makes it difficult for you to be able to run that outside lane. But as those tires wear, what happens is you get a better run down these straightaways, even though you're not necessarily faster in the corner. So then you can hold people off up on the outside lane. Wonder if that comes in at all, and we see guys start to hold each other off and run side by side for a number of laps.
Side by side battle here for the 4th and 5th spot. Dylan Thomas, the inside of Colin Fambro, as they come across the stripe.
Fambro kind of falling back a little bit here from the start. He already lost 1 spot to, I believe, Gerald Campbell, and now Dylan Thomas trying to fire after him as well. And so 3 car. Dylan's been very good at these short tracks this year. Ran very, very well at North Wilkesboro. Dominated the dirt track race. A short track, even if it was on dirt.
You know, he's really had that was a good boost of momentum for him. He's running strong really since that dirt track race. Been up here contending for top 5s and top 10s ever since then.
Yeah, Dylan's a very skilled driver. You know, he's especially shines on those dirt tracks, but he always finds his way up to the front. And remember, he was just a few points outside at Daytona, where he couldn't necessarily get by Matthew Bayuk, Josh Adams, and Gerald Campbell, all of whom also had a race win. Although Bayuk didn't. Bayuk pointed his way in, but I think Gerald Campbell and Josh Adams sucked up the 2 wildcard spots outside the top 10, and Dylan Thomas couldn't catch him in points.
Fambro looking at potentially losing another spot here, as here comes Thomas Sherman taking a look to the inside. Got a little loose there in the corner. He'll have to slot back up just behind Fambro, but he's took a couple looks now to the inside of the 5 car.
Don't look now, but Gerald Campbell has reeled in Ryan Lutz a little bit. And I've talked about Ryan Lutz and what he does when he has a lead in a dominant car. He loves to toy with the field. He loves to make those guys think they have a chance, overuse their tires, overuse their stuff. got to see if Gerald Campbell can get up to Lutz's back bumper and make a run at him, because if that was the case, I think then we would know Lutz maybe doesn't have the most dominant car in the field. But if he never gets to him, that's how we know that Ryan Lutz is just toying with his food.
Well, it's like that yo-yo effect that we've seen all season long. Like you were saying, David, he just pulls out by a couple tenths and then will fall back a little bit, let the guys get some hope, and then just kind of pull back out a little bit, and it'll continue. But like you said, we'll see what happens with Campbell.
Delicado, James Heater, Cameron Rich, Damian Leininger, Michael Goodman, all battling it out for about 23rd or 24th on track. A bunch of these guys didn't take time in qualifying, trying to work their way through the field. Nick Massey looking on from all this. Delicado trying to make the outside work around Goodman, and he'll get there. Strong run by the 0-1. He usually starts in the back and works his way all the way up through the field.
Pretty single file through the top 10, maybe even 15 cars as they're all running that bottom lane.
Goodman really struggling right now, I think, just with the rhythm of this car. He seems to be stuck on the bottom a little bit. Scott Crump down to his outside. Damian Leininger and Nick Massey looking to also take advantage of the 73 car. I've been where Goody is too, where maybe you had just a little moment, a little slide where you were, 20th, you were feeling good, you had a little slide, and all of a sudden the car just doesn't feel right anymore. You're not comfortable, and people are jumping on your outside, really pushing, pinning you down, trying to get past you. It's very tough to get back in your rhythm and get back after it.
Battle at the back half of the top 10, actually at the back of the top 10. Dallas Myhand and Josh Adams going at it for the 9th and 10th spot. Adams looking inside of Myhand in the 13 car for the 9th spot.
Adams has really been quiet since he won at Talladega earlier in the season. Thought he was going to maybe make some noise in the chase. Wasn't really able to do that. Certainly had some bad luck, and then had some tough races, really unlucky races, like at Darlington where the caution didn't come out on a slide where he got hit into the wall. Ended up really sending him behind the 8 ball. Chris Wright really not moving forward. He's still 7th, and he hasn't been able to make any passes from, I believe, his 7th place starting position.
Oh, into the wall went somebody who I didn't see who it was. Someone hit the wall, falling through the field a little bit. It was just outside the top 10. Zishan, maybe?
Well, somebody bounced it off the wall. Turn 2 is definitely going to be the place where you hit the wall there. I think on turn 2, you get tight, you'll hit that outside wall. Turn 4, you'll slide it sideways and spin to the infield. Those are kind of the two risky incidents that you can see here at Richmond if you don't see contact between other cars from side-by-side racing. Ayuk and Brandon Key running side-by-side right in front of Nick Lafferty. That's for 18th, 19th, and 20th, and Nick and Delicado trying to break into the top 20. Ooh, there's Lafferty sideways off of turn 2. Lose that spot to Delicado. Ayuk also gets a little choked up there behind Brandon Key, and he'll lose a spot to his teammate Nick and Delicado as well, potentially, and Delicado making that outside lane work. So you're 20 laps into the run, these cars sliding around a little bit. That outside line seems to be working a little better than the inside line if you can keep your momentum wound up there.
Dylan Thomas was able to get by Tate Lytle, and he's kind of checked out a little bit. Everyone's stacked up behind Lytle now. As we were talking earlier, Sherman was trying to get around Fambro, never was able to do it, and these guys have kind of just had to tuck in behind each other since. No one, David mentioned Wright hasn't been on the move. Really no one from 6th on back has been able to get around anybody.
I'll tell you, Tate Lytle and Colin Fambro, not particularly big fans of each other either. So we might see the bumper get used there between the 5 and the 56. And I think Tate probably not yielding room at all here because he knows who's behind him right now. Big battle back in the field. Nick Lafferty caught on the outside now. He's not able to make it work like Nick and Delicado. And he continues to fall back through the field. Ayuk also kind of falling back.
Looks like Josh Adams might have used the bumper there a little bit on Dallas Myhan, trying to still get around him.
Didn't work out for Josh, and I wonder if these Xfinity cars tend to bounce off of each other as opposed to have that kind of classic being able to move each other that you would see at short tracks in real life. These Xfinity cars on iRacing, they bounce off each other and it rubber bands really badly. Colin Fambro has moved past Tate Lytle for 4th place.
Thomas Sherman looking to run down. He's caught the 56 real quick. He's going to try to make the move.
Tate struggling. I mean, I don't know if he used up his tires or what, but that 56 car just not as fast as it was in qualifying.
He's got a freight train behind him that are going to try to pick him off one by one. Could potentially lose quite a few spots here.
That's right, kind of putting pressure on Thomas Sherman, trying to kickstart that passing of Tate Lytle.
And Chris Wright might be getting a little impatient too, because he sat behind Sherman for quite a few laps, waiting for him to make the move on Fambro that never panned out either. So,
and all this for Chris Wright, he's watching Ryan Lutz drive away, now 4.5 seconds ahead of Chris Wright and gaining about a 10th every lap. Gerald Campbell, by the way, got to that 3 or 4 tenths behind Ryan Lutz, and he never got closer than that. Lutz pulled away from him. That lead is now 1.5 seconds between Ryan Lutz and Gerald Campbell. Not even a battle up front. It's all these side-by-side racing in the mid and back of the pack.
Yeah, the top 4 now kind of spacing each other out. Then it's back to Lytle in 5th. Then you can almost throw a blanket over 5th through 10th.
I would even wager that you can go all the way back to 12th or 13th with that blanket. A lot of cars all stacked up there, and that's all in front of this big wad of cars running for about 20th place. Nick and Delicato has made it all the way to 16th after starting way in the back of the field.
Johnny Thomas stuck on the high side up here as Matthew Weeks and now Hank Steinmiller are going to try to take positions away.
And this is the battle for clinging on to the back end of that freight train that's caught behind Tate Lytle right now. Weeks gets by Johnny, and here comes Hank to the inside as well. Hank will get him, I believe, entering this corner. Johnny, not trying to fight too hard, goes ahead and saves his stuff for the later in the race. Belly up sports Camaro there. On board with Hank Steinmiller, looking back at Johnny Thomas and Ethan Burrell back in your picture.
Tate's been able to check out a little bit here. He's pulled away from Thomas Sherman, starting to reel Colin Fambro back in just a little bit.
Yeah, Tate might have been saving his tires, really pushing on that save strategy. You know, we questioned whether or not Tate had burned up his tires already, but it looks like he's really turned it back around. Sherman now the one under fire and seemingly holding up that back end of the top 10.
Dylan Thomas is closing in on Jared Campbell, too, for the 2nd spot. 3 car on the move.
It's a fast car, and we know it's good at these short tracks. Dylan's definitely strong, and I know Gerald tends to struggle a little bit on the longer runs with saving his tires. He has to really focus on it, and I think early in the run he might have been trying to run Ryan Lutz down. Got, tantalizingly close there and started pushing his stuff a little bit too much, more than he wanted to. With that fall off, that's bringing Dylan Thomas and by proxy, Colin Fambro and Tate Lytle right back to him. Battle's heating up, though. Dylan's right there on the back bumper of Gerald Campbell.
Yeah, he really closed through 3 and 4. We'll see if he can close in even farther in 1 and 2 here. Campbell gets a good run in. See if Thomas can get the run out of the corner.
Battle back here again. Adams and Myhan continuing to go at it. That battle's been raging for the better part of our 34 laps here. Ooh, man, that was almost some contact between those two. But Richmond very forgiving. You can really pull off of people who run around you. And the more later we get in this race, the more aggressive those pinches will be by that outside car. Keep that car on the inside from getting to the gas pedal off the corner and holding them down. That's where we will get our wrecks, but I don't think they're happening right now. Everyone's giving each other good room, good space. I say that. Josh almost turns the 13 car, and he's going to now find himself under attack by another Josh Robin, in the 26 car. It's Adams on board and Josh Robin tucked in behind him. Matthew Weeks has joined this fray as well as Hank Steinmiller. They've driven away from Johnny Thomas. In fact, Ethan Burrell's gotten around Thomas for 14th.
Here comes Dylan Thomas. He's going to look underneath Campbell this time.
And Chris Wright also going after him.
Campbell's had a better 1 and 2, but here comes Thomas this time, able to keep it close down the backstretch. He's been better in 3 and 4. We'll see if he can make the run and make the pass.
Right there to the back bumper of Gerald Campbell is Dylan Thomas. They are losing a lot of time to Ryan Lutz. Up front, Thomas trying to do everything he can to get around Campbell now and get in behind his teammate, kind of set a buffer. See if he has him this time entering turn 3. Nope, gonna keep riding behind that 31 car. Chris Wright has gotten around Thomas Sherman now. We'll see if Wright can kind of eat into the top 5. My hand on the outside of Brandon Scott. Using that outside lane for gain here. See if you can pinch Scott down and take over that 8th position. There it is. Outside lane starting to work as a passing lane now. A little rubber up there. That car will tighten up and drive off the corner. Yeah, Dallas Myhan drives around Brandon Scott. That's for 7th spot or 8th spot. Adams trying to make it work all the same. A little bit loose though. This is a good battle, and this is the product of Richmond, where you can kind of run that top lane without giving up too much time. It's all about the courtesy of that car on the bottom. Do they wash up into you, or do they, keep the car down, pinned down, and get off of you there? Ooh, they're gonna make contact. My hand sideways. Saved it.
What a great save there by Dallas Myhan. Hey,
Yeah,
side-by-side battle for second.
There
Dylan
it
Thomas
is.
under Campbell.
We knew it was coming there eventually.
Looks like Lytle maybe making a move back there for 4th as well.
Yep. Lytle going after Colin Fambro. Right there behind. We don't have a sponsored good hands move of the race or a good save of the race or anything like that. If we did, though, Dallas Myhan would have absolutely won the award right there.
Yes, he did. And just about 3 laps ago, Casey Hatch just went down a lap at the hands of Ryan Lutz.
And Lutz going to catch the back of the field, I think, rather quickly. And some of those guys trying to just make some laps back there are going to end up going 1 lap down to the race leader, and they may even go more than that over the course of this 200 lap event. Ryan Lutz is really checked out on the rest of these guys, and 36 car looks very strong.
Yeah, over 3-second lead for Lutz over Dylan Thomas. Thomas now in that 2nd spot. We'll see if he can have anything to close the gap, but early indication is probably not likely.
Ryan Lutz is so good at getting out in front of these races and leading laps. He's really brilliant when it comes to padding his lead when he needs to and saving tires when he needs to. He'll always have something for the cars who drive up and catch him once they do get there. So it makes him so tough to beat. Tay Lytle coming after Colin Fambro for P4. Lytle in the Bronson 56 car. Running here with Fambro in the white and blue car.
Jared Campbell right in front of him now as well.
Campbell's starting to back up a little bit. I think the 31 car might be not so much enjoying the older tires in this longer run.
Really slow. They have really closed up on the 31 car here.
Looks like Tate just can't get the drive off when there's a car to his outside. Kind of keeps the 56 pinned down. He can just get to the back bumper of Colin Fambro, but he can't really get underneath him.
Ryan Lutz comes to the finish line this time. We're a quarter of the way through. 50 laps now in the books of 200.
This battle's still raging. Dallas Mahan, Brandon Scott, Matthew Weeks, Ethan Burrell, Josh Robin, all going at it. Josh Adams underneath Thomas Sherman.
Ooh, 3 wide down the backstretch.
That is for third place. And Tate, Gerald close to each other. Tate's going to come up the track, and man, they split and passed Gerald Campbell without wrecking. That was impressive.
Fambrel and Lytle still going at it.
We're making that outside lane work. Tate Lytle unable to kind of drive up beside him on the inside. Pro Edge cars of Weeks and Burrell are the ones kind of leading the charge through the field here. And the slow, these guys running side by side has really reeled in the back half of this top 15. You've got Nick Indelicato, Cameron Rich moving up on this group. Hank Steinman was right here as well. Everyone from about 6th on back to 15th or 16th is all within this screenshot here.
And Chris Wright really hasn't made that much ground up on these guys and hasn't really been able to pull away from Thomas Sherman that much.
Wonder if Wright got just caught up running really hard laps side by side with people, trying to hold people off in this little group. Sherman finally washes out a little bit. That does open the door for Adams, and he'll clear Thomas Sherman there. 7th place to the 95. Brandon Scott now charging after Sherman.
I think Adams had a little hand in that one. I think he gave a little bump to Sherman. Moved him up the racetrack a little bit. Now here comes Scott.
Patience of these top 10 cars beginning to wear thin. They've run a lot of laps side by side with a lot of the same people, and they know who's holding them up and who's not. Brandon Scott clears Thomas Sherman now. Oh, contact between Robin and maybe just the wall, actually. I think Robin just got it into the fence. Our second great save of the night keeps our first caution from coming out. Mahan still trying to make that outside lane work. Behind him, Pro Edge teammates Burrell and Weeks side by side. Ethan Burrell's car looks really strong right now. Old tires seem to be, helping him a lot. Man, Robin got sideways coming off of the corner. Maybe a little contact with Hank Steinmiller, but it looks like those cars are none the worse for wear.
Give it about another 3-4 laps, and Ryan Lutz is going to be into the back of the field and in lap traffic, and I think it's Joe Francis, the first one up on the list.
Yep, Michael Goodman as well back there. Kyle Hanshaw, last week's 3rd place driver. And looking at that battle, Josh Adams was going after Chris Wright. I don't know that he got him right there, but Adams putting pressure on Wright for 6th, the 95 car. He might get him right here now. They're battling back and forth for 6th place. For now, I think Chris Wright's going to hold off Adams, but for how long? Did Dylan Thomas hit the wall right there? I'm not so sure. He might have scraped it just a little bit, trying to really run down that 36 car, but he's still 4 seconds behind.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Carlos just told us, I saw that he was a couple laps down. I wonder if Zishan was the one that got into the wall about 15 laps or so ago.
Yeah, you might be right, and just that little right side damage is enough to really bend up these Xfinity cars and force them into handling issues that don't really resolve themselves. Even when you fix that damage on pit road, Zishan might have just had enough after bending up the right side. We got an instant replay, I believe. Maybe Zishan didn't hit the wall 20 laps ago. Let's see what happened here. Ooh, tried to come to pit road. Got into the tire barrier, or the barrels there.
That will definitely do it.
That'll end your night right there. Tough break for the 10 car. Easy to do here at Richmond, too. It's so quick. That pit road, you have to be woed way down. Very careful entering. If you aren't very careful, you can just slide it straight into those barrels just like Zishan did. It is a difficult pit road to enter. Speaking of entering, Ethan Burrell and Nick Indelicato working on entering the top 10. Both of those guys have driven up from rear-end starting spots. Burrell into 8th now. Indelicato there in 11th.
And to add to that there, David, Ryan Lutz entering lap traffic. Just went around Joe Francis. We'll go after Michael Goodman next.
I don't know. Did you see that save by Nick Indelicato? Oh, my goodness. These cars are starting to really handle poorly. The old tires, 65 laps on them. I think we're going to see guys start thinking about trying to make this a two-stop race. I wouldn't go for a two-stop race. I think you have to make it a one-stop race if you want to win the thing. But if you're outside the top 10, not running for points, I mean, why not try to get in there, get it fresh rubber on it, try to run as fast as you can for the next 60, 70 laps, and then do it one more time. You might not have enough time to make it all the way up, but at least you'll be fast. This is a good battle right here. Chris Wright, Josh Adams, Ethan Burrell, Brandon Scott.
Josh Robbins down pit road. Richard Lafferty just made some contact. Kyle Hanshaw, that was right in front of your leader, Ryan Lutz. He's going to try to split the two right now.
Gerald Campbell just went down pit road, 3 wide for 5th place. They all passed Campbell, and that makes right now the 5th place car. Burrell trying to get by. Cameron Rich getting into the top 10.
Sherman down pit road as well.
A lot of these guys trying to divide this race up into 2 stops, 2 60 to 70 lap runs. I know people are going to try to make this a 2-stop or a 1-stop race, but 2 stops might be the way to go if you can run enough green flag laps. If this thing goes green all the way, this could be the way to go.
Well, they did just lose a lap by heading down pit road.
Burrell gets in behind Chris Wright. He's going to have to work on Wright now, trying to battle these 2 Rubbins Racing teammates. They're clogging up the lanes for Ethan Burrell here. You can see just how ill handling these cars are. It seems like off of every corner we're seeing someone get a little bit sideways. Francis down pit road. Chris Wright is running the highest I've seen anybody run, and he's making it work. He's holding Ethan Burrell at bay using that majorly outside lane, keeping up his momentum through every corner. Now he pinches Ethan down onto the apron, trying everything to hold on to 5th place. Ethan now on the top side on right. Ooh, Adams hit the wall. I think we've already seen Joe Francis' pit stop. Timing and scoring is showing him 2 laps down. I think we're doubling up on that. Regardless, Ryan Lutz staying out there. He'll be shown on the bottom in this big battle as Ethan Burrell clears Chris Wright. What a drive by Ethan Burrell. He's up to 5th. And the battle is for 7th between Adams and Brandon Scott. Ethan Burrell was able to clear through this big wad of cars. Nick Indelicato and Cameron Rich have just not been able to get through it.
Colin Fambro and Dylan Thomas are close to each other now that they're in lap traffic.
Yep. Dylan Thomas has eaten a second off of the Ryan Lutz lead.
In fact, throw Tate Lytle in there as well. 3 cars all together.
A big battle for third. You got a big amount of space back to Ethan Burrell, though. 6 seconds between Lytle and Burrell, the 2 teammates. Alex Myhand has been running this entire race on the top lane. I don't think I've seen him run the bottom once willingly, and he hasn't fallen outside of the top 10 doing it. Here comes Fresh Tires. Gerald Campbell on the bottom in the back of your picture on the top side of the screen. We'll see what Fresh Tires means for this 31 car. How quickly can he get around these guys? Trying that 2-stop strategy. He's got to run qualifying laps in order to make it work. Matthew Bayuk on pit road. Ooh, that's going to get tight. My hand up there. Oh, and Campbell sideways on the apron. That won't help you. Campbell trying to maximize the time. And oh, Rich and my hand make contact.
We've talked about it all season, David. This is where things can kind of get hairy with new tires and old tires. Could lead to a caution. Oh, there's contact there as well.
Onto pit road goes Nick and Delicato, trying to quickly take advantage of it. This racing, though, I don't know that we'll stay green for too much longer. There it is!
There it is.
Campbell into the wall. Caution is out. Josh Adams might have gotten into Campbell. We'll have to take a look at that replay. And that ends Gerald Campbell's very good start to the day. And it ruins Ryan Lutz's lead. Looks like Colin Fambro had gotten Dylan Thomas for second. Here we go. Gerald clears up. Man. I don't know about you guys. That one looked like Josh went in there and administered some justice. I could be wrong, but I mean, dang. Not sure. Curious. We've run, what, 78 clean laps there, and then that's the incident that takes us under caution. We need more story on that one, I think. Ryan Lutz to pit road. Tate Lytle, Colin Fambro, Chris Wright, Dylan Thomas following him in. We can send Emily down there, see what happened between Josh Adams and Gerald Campbell. I would be very curious to see what the story is there.
Looks like Lutz wins the race off pit road. Fambro, I think, came off second.
And in the surprise of the century, Ryan Lutz retains the lead after pitting from the pole. Oh, Richard Hines is going to ruin Ryan Lutz's perfect race. Oh, man. Did Hines lead a lap is the real question. I don't know if we can pull up who's led the laps. Ethan Burrell stays out and steals the lap lead bonus, or the perfect race, rather, from Ryan Lutz. Wow. Interesting call. All right, well, we got some sponsors that can jump in here while we're riding around under caution, so let's send it off to them.
Hey gang, it's Commissioner Cooper of TSS Fantasy. We are the fantasy show of the people. Expert fantasy advice, free contests, leading expert medical and legal analysis, and most importantly, you. Interact with us on all social media platforms or check us out at tssfantasy.com. You can hear us on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many more. Check out the fun today and be a part of the most interactive fantasy show around. TSS Fantasy, the fantasy show of the people.
All right, welcome back. Thanks to our sponsors there of the race. David, we're going to have to start talking about the bonus point conversation here as we close in on less than 20 laps to halfway.
Yeah, Ryan Lutz is in prime position for it, and I think he'll try to push forward and go ahead and get the maximum points. It's now a matter of how far up can Chris Wright rise to keep Ryan Lutz from gaining too much on him. He really needs Ryan Lutz to stumble, and we haven't seen Ryan Lutz make any mistakes throughout this chase. So that'll be the question of these next couple of laps. And before we go green, let's bring Emily on. Emily, what you got from either the Josh Adams or Gerald Campbell pit?
Hey guys, yeah, so I jumped down and talked to Gerald Campbell, and as soon as I got down there, everyone else on his team just warned me right away that Gerald was not happy with what went down out there. I talked to Gerald. He said, he just had new tires, and other people should be aware of that. He said the 95 car just came down on him too hard, and he was definitely not pleased. I would not be surprised if there was some more contact before this race is over.
Interesting. This is a league where we allow the boys to have at it. Administer your own justice as you please. Green flag back out. Ryan Lutz going after it. Tate Lytle into second, and Chris Wright's got the bottom. He'll take third.
Dylan Thomas just moved Colin Fambro up the racetrack there through the middle of the corner. Now
I think somebody's sideways off the back. Spinner off the back. Do we have a caution? We do. And that's going to be Casey Hatch looping the Jordan Owens owned 45. Maybe Emily can go get Josh Adams' side of the story now after that last caution.
Cautions breed more caution, so here we go.
And Casey Hatch just puts the hammer down a little early in the corner and loops that 45 car. Casey has returned from the military. He was just deployed, I believe, earlier this year. Or not deployed, but he went to basic training earlier this year, waiting to kind of hear what's happening for him to get deployed. So we thank Casey for his service every time. Unfortunately, Richmond got the better of him a little bit right there.
Yeah, thank you so much for your service, Casey. Caught the apron just a little bit too much there. Spun him around.
Hank Steinmiller coming down pit road trying to take advantage of this caution. So is Kyle Hanshaw, get a little bit of help. Gerald Campbell likely coming to fix some of that damage to the 31 car. I can't even tell who that is. 25 car. Who is that?
Marshall Stanley.
Marshall Stanley. It's been a while since Marshall Stanley's been running. I think he was with us every race early in the season, but not since the playoffs had started has Stanley been with us. So that opens things up for Tate Lytle and Chris Wright to be running right there with Ryan Lutz, and I'm wondering if Wright maybe feels like this is his one opportunity to put the bumper to the 36 car and pick up some stage points. But before we even maybe delve into that, Emily, what's Josh Adams got to say about that?
Yeah, so I did chat with Josh. He said there was a lot going on. He was coming down on the corner, went 3 wide. He did say that he kind of got into Gerald, so that was there. But Josh said he had about a minute of damage to his car, but he had also hit the wall prior to that. So he didn't seem as angry as Gerald was, probably because of the way that the crash went down. But yeah, that was the story. The guys were asking me how it looked, how the crash looked. I said, not great, to be honest.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see if anything comes of that. We'll keep our eye on Gerald Campbell and Josh Adams. I wonder if Hank Steinmiller has some damage to the right side of the 63 car. This is the second time he's been on pit road. He did get hit when, I don't remember, it was a Brandon Scott. No, it was Josh Robin hit the wall and came down and bounced off of his right side. Wonder if there's a little bit of damage to that 63 car. They will now form up, I believe, for 1 to go here at the line. And that will mean, I don't have the lap counter in front of me. I think we're within 10 laps of the halfway point here.
Yeah, we're sitting at lap 88 right now, so going to be pretty close. When we go green, we'll probably be right at about 10 to go.
Yep, 10 laps to go in the stage. There you go. 11 to go is the call from Carlos. When we go green next time by, And Dom, this is my thought here. If I'm Chris Wright, Ryan Lutz has not made a single misstep this entire chase. I'm not beating him on speed. He's ahead of me by 20 points. I need 10 points right now. Have to have them. And I have the opportunity right now. Might not have the opportunity later in the race. Do you haul it in there turn one and try to move Ryan Lutz out of the way?
I think it's down to that point, right? There's only really a race and a half left. He's got to do something to give himself a chance. I wouldn't say wreck him, but try to use the bumper and move him out of the way.
Yep, here comes Chris Wright. He's going to get after Tate Lytle for second. Lutz got a huge restart, and Wright's going to be in there in P2. So what can the 69 do with the 36? He's got to drive the best laps of his season right here if he wants to keep Ryan Lutz from just walking away with the championship.
Well, David, and here's the thing, right? You know you got another pit stop at some point. So why save the tires right now when you can go after them, maybe use them up a little bit if it gets you those extra few points?
Chris Wright's driving it hard, too. He's right on the back bumper of Ryan Lutz. Just a matter of can he get that extra 2/10 to get Ryan Lutz and get to the back bumper. I mean, we haven't seen anybody be able to close in right like Wright has right now.
69 of Chris Wright really giving it all he can. Cameron Rich to the inside of Colin Fambro for the 5th spot.
Cameron Rich has made a really good drive up through the field. Trying to watch if Chris Wright can gain anything on Lutz, but it just doesn't look like he has enough speed. Just very close. He's right there, but not enough to get this 36 car. Ryan Lutz just so smooth.
I think that first lap or so was his shot. Right now, Lutz is pulled out by about 2 or 3 car lengths, and he's just maintaining it at that distance. Wright has not been able to gain in the last 2 laps.
This would be a Herculean effort from Chris Wright if he could get to Ryan Lutz here. He's getting there, though. He's eating him up a little bit in the center. I think maybe abusing his tires a little bit in the process, though. It's really risky to drive as hard as Chris Wright's driving right now, but you have to do it if you're going to win this championship. Ryan Lutz is just eating him up off the corner. Wright's pushing it, entering, and in the center of the corner, and Ryan Lutz is just driving it off.
It's that fine balance for Chris. He knows he's got to push it in, but you can't overdrive the corner. Otherwise, you're just going to let Ryan pull away with him.
Las Vegas next week, another track Ryan Lutz is very good at, but a little bit more of an equalizer in these Xfinity cars. The draft kind of coming into play a little bit. It'll be very difficult for Lutz to be guaranteed the lead like he is at a place like Richmond. Dylan Thomas just hit the wall in the front straightaway again.
Yeah, but David, you said it in the open that with how Lutz is performing here tonight, if you can keep these, these points over right here at the halfway stage aren't really going to be that big of a difference. But if he continues to run how he is, I mean, it could be almost a lock by the time we get to Vegas next week.
Yeah, the halfway stage at Vegas next week, I think we'll know who our champion's going to be. Rather, we'll know if Lutz locked it up by the halfway stage at Vegas next week. 10 points given out to the winner of the halfway lap. Right now, Chris Wright, nothing for Ryan Lutz. He was within 2/10 a few laps ago. Lutz has opened it up now half a second between himself and the 69 car.
Yeah, I think Wright's starting to fade just a little bit here. Or maybe backed it off, knowing he can't get to him and has to do some tire conservation a little bit.
Possibly he's trying to back it up, cool the tires, and get another run here. Once they, get down to it, 2 more laps, can he eat up Ryan Lutz in those 2 laps? We'll see. I mean, losing a point here to Lutz is probably not the end of the world because you really needed Lutz to fail before halfway next week anyway. Wright's driving it really deep into the corner. Yeah, he's overdriving it. A little run, though. Last lap here for Ryan Lutz to get these 10 stage points. Smooth as a cucumber. Lost a 10th there to Chris Wright. Does Wright bury it in here? He does, but not enough. Ryan Lutz is going to get 10 stage points, and Wright will get 9. And that, I think, seals up the deal that these two are the 2 fighting for the championship next week in Las Vegas.
Yeah, Nick Massey has cracked the top 10. I think he came across the line in 9th there, but it's 8 points he just gave up to those 2 up front.
Yeah, and he was already a point behind Chris Wright there, so Nick Massey falling further and further behind. Zishan Dura has hit the wall hard again. Not a great night for the 10 car. Richmond not his friend. Very difficult racetrack this is. Cameron Rich and Dylan Thomas side by side for 4th place. Rich has really come on strong in the mid part of this race. Carlos's pick. Carlos's pick has won 2 races this year. You got to think maybe he can get there for another one. Dylan Thomas trying to hold off Brandon Scott for that 6th spot. Scott is one of those guys in the battle for the Buttkicker Short Track Championship. But I think Ryan Lutz and Chris Wright are going to be deciding that one amongst themselves. And if Chris Wright is able to stay right where he is, I think that would seal the deal for him. He needs to be 10 points ahead of Nick Massey at the end of the night. But he did get the halfway points over Massey, so he really only needs to be 2 or 3 spots ahead of Massey at the end of the night to claim the short track championship.
Yeah, we've been talking about the Belly Up Sports Cup, or the ERSCA Cup, sponsored by Belly Up Sports for the overall championship, but another big trophy here on the line. We've mentioned it, David just brought it up. Short track championship on the line tonight as well.
Yep, and Chris Wright currently, I would say, is probably the favorite. He's the temporary leader. Nick Massey came into the night with 10-point gap to Wright, but Wright has just picked up, I believe, 8 points on Massey. Maybe just 7 points, but even so, then that would make Wright the de facto leader in the short track championship. Tate Lytle saved his tires on this run. He backed it off a little bit, and now he has come right back to the 69 car, and he's kept Ryan Lutz from driving away.
Wright, Lytle, and Rich all together now in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and here comes Scott looking under Thomas again.
Yep, that battle's been raging for the better part of this entire run between Brandon Scott and Dylan Thomas. Dylan holds him off again on the outside lane. This battle right here is 3 guys who are kind of just looking in the shadow, hoping that something happens in the distance to change the outcome of this race. Ryan Lutz has just been on a rail tonight, and Richmond is just one of those tracks that he just absolutely loves. Here comes Lytle for 2nd. Not going to get there. Wright with a great drive off the top. Wright's the only one I've seen make that very, very ultra top line work in turns 3 and 4. Nobody else has ventured up there. Lytle trying it again, trying to throw it in, get that drive off, but Chris Wright on the top lane, able to hold him back, though right there, Tate Lytle was 2nd at the line. This battling side by side is just letting Ryan Lutz drive further and further away from this battle. There goes Lytle. He'll slide up in front of Wright. Does Wright hit him? Ooh, man. They needed all the racetrack. Didn't have it. Good view here. You can see just how difficult it is to complete a pass at a place like Richmond with that top groove. If Lytle tries to get up in front of him there, he will. Lytle into 2nd. Cameron, Rich, and Wright side by side for 3rd.
Ethan Burrell just got around Nick Massey too for the 9th position. Massey back to 10th.
Burrell had stayed out to lead a lap there. Took away Ryan Lutz's perfect race. You remember, I think back to Iowa, he didn't have anyone take away that perfect race. He led it all the way right up until Gerald Campbell. At the very end, snatched it away from him.
Damian Leininger going to go after Colin Fambro.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention anything, but since you brought up Damian Leininger, I will get to say Damian's having a really good run up here in the top 10. That is not a jinx. He's just there. He's in the top 10. Don't hate me, Damian. Tried to avoid talking about you.
They're stuck behind Scott and Thomas, who are side by side and continue to fight.
And these guys are holding up Ethan Burrell and Nick Massey. I think without question, this little battle, the four-car battle here among a group of non-playoff drivers has got two of our other, really former championship contenders in Lytle and Burrell and Massey held up. They can't get through here. They could probably battle for top 5 runs. Cameron Rich just blew around Tate Lytle. Oh my. We didn't even see the pass. It was so quick. That was really fast. And he's set sail. He's all the way. He's reeled Ryan Lutz into 1 second.
Does the 47 car have something for Ryan Lutz, your race leader?
Big question is right there. Brandon Scott has cleared Dylan Thomas. It'll now be Thomas versus his teammate Damian Leininger. And Burrell versus Colin Fambro.
Massey and Weeks waiting behind them, trying to get through as well.
Dallas Myhand, who's been in the top 10 all race long, back in 12th, kind of hoping he can sneak up and steal a spot from someone who's overusing their tires. Cameron Rich he's reeled Lutz in. He gained a 10th on him. Rich may be the car that has something for Ryan Lutz. Maybe. We'll see. Lutz could just be backing it up and toying with people. He likes to do that. Got the gap there down at the bottom of the screen, courtesy of 3Wide TV and Carlos Acosta, our producer. Doing a wonderful job as always. Showing us this live scoring of Cameron Rich trying to close in on Ryan Lutz.
Gained another 10th that lap.
Yeah, that's big. That's a big gain for Cameron Rich. Now, like I said, Ryan Lutz likes to toy with people. He likes to have somebody chasing him on the back bumper because he then ends up driving it better. He likes to save tires until people get to his bumper and then pull away.
David, he gained over 1.5 tenths that time, though. It's down to 7 tenths.
3 wide, oh boy. Leininger, Thomas, and Fambro. Oh, and Thomas just spins Fambro. That was a product of 3 wide, though. Clearly, man, I don't know that Thomas was trying to do that. You could see it slide up the track a little bit and bop the 5 car. I'd say we should keep our cameras here, Carlos, see if this 5 car wants to drive on up there. And just saying, we back in Martinsville, we went to commercial break. I don't think you were with us in Martinsville, but we went to check a replay. And Nick Indelicato and Jeff Green were fighting it out on track. Indelicato drove all the way up and spun Jeff Green out on track. It's like Fambro is not overly upset with getting spun from 3 wide. It seems like it's a pretty normal risk of 3 wide anyway. We got a replay and pit stops coming here. We could send Emily down to talk to either Dylan or Colin, I'm sure. Oh man, that's a big chunk of net code. Wow. Dylan never even hit him. And Colin's car reacted like it did. See it from the top. Dylan holding his line on the middle. Drifts up a little bit, but I don't think he ever touched him.
It was close, but regardless, 5 car goes around, and maybe Colin got relayed that message that it wasn't, intentional or wasn't there, and that's why we don't see him going after Dylan Thomas right now.
We've been keeping our eye on that ever since we had those incidents back at Martinsville with people getting real upset and returning the favor to each other, trying to keep track on the scoreboard. It's like Josh Adams and Richard Hines stayed out to lead a lap there.
And David, we got about 75 to go. This is kind of on the verge where we saw that first caution. You think we'll see guys try to make it to the end from here?
I think without question. I think that was the final pit stop of the day. Right there. We just saw it. Ryan Lutz is not going to come back down pit road and risk losing it on sliding over his box or speeding on pit road the rest of the way.
What might be an even better question is Cameron Rich is going to start to the outside of Ryan Lutz here. This will be a real indication of, does the 47 car have something for the 36?
I'll tell you, the outside lane is not the place you want to be starting because Lutz can start this race while the outside car is still in a position where he cannot get any drive going down the front straightaway. He'll start it still in the corner where the outside car has to be careful getting on the throttle or they'll spin the tires and spin each other out. So Ryan Lutz in the catbird seat right now.
Oh, but still, Rich would still have some clean racetrack in front of him. So we'll see if he can run him down or at least keep him in tow. Maybe hook onto that 36 and go with him.
Cameron Rich is Chris Wright's best friend right now. All right, Emily came back. Emily, what you got?
Hey guys, yeah, so I went down and talked to the guys at Rebbins Racing again and talked to Colin. He said that Dylan Thomas absolutely did get into him. I know it looked a little iffy there on our replay. But yeah, he said he has enough. I asked him how much damage he had and he said enough. So that's the story there, that Dylan did get into Colin as far as he's concerned. And the guys also said that maybe I should go talk to Ryan Lutz and try to jinx him. So they want me to, they said, come talk to me when it's happy, not after each time that somebody wrecks. So we'll see how the rest of this goes in my notorious jinx.
You're like the angel of death coming in after somebody's wiped out, huh?
You know, I do what I can, you guys.
Ryan Lutz gets going early, but Cameron Rich got the best start I've seen from anybody on top.
He's going to be able to hold off Tate Lytle here entering 2.
Yeah, that was big right there for Cameron Rich and his chances to win this race.
Oh, they're wrecking. Steinmiller just spun out in the back. I think he left, though, before.
No.
Oh, no, he's still out there.
That's going to be a caution right there. Maybe not. Oh, Shanshaw around as well. Oh, boy, it's going chaotic here at the end of this race.
Just went airborne, too.
All that. Ryan Lutz is checked out on Cameron Rich, half a second already. Kind of ruined what we were looking for there, which was a little battle between the leaders.
Lytle into the 3rd spot, Rich in 4th, and then Brandon Scott slots into the final spot in the top 5.
The loser on pit stop. So there's the caution. There's the caution. Looks like Brandon Key is around. And I think that an entire sequence was a really big benefit for Ethan Burrell and a really big negative for Damian Leininger. He went back to 10th after pit stops. Burrell went from about 10th all the way up to 6th, maybe? 6th, 7th? He's up higher.
6th. He's in 6th spot. There's Steinmiller spinning out. That was the whole start of it about a lap and a half ago.
Yeah, that was the first one. Here's the second one. Kyle Hanshaw got sideways off of turn 4. Contact? Nope. Loose car there. So that's incident number 2.
Go for a ride through the grass, go airborne right about here. There it is.
That might be the most realistic thing iRacing's done, is put in grass that shoots the car up into the air. And here's the Brandon Key incident. Same incident as Hanshaw. Wonder why this one drew a caution and Hanshaw didn't. There it is. Acted through the grass and onto the track. Gets the caution. Carlos goes in and says, oh, it's on purpose. And I can tell you right now, if you've seen 3 or 4 wrecks that didn't get called to caution and you get spun as well, you don't hold the brake. You let it ride on the track. Come on, you need the caution just as much as those other 3 guys. Carlos is now denying that he said anything. Or am I going to get myself suspended, Carlos? Because I just admitted I'd do it too. Ryan Lutz, the race leader. Cameron Ridge, Tate Lytle, and Chris Wright, top 4. Brandon Scott moved up to 5th, and then Ethan Burrell, like I said, the winner on that pit stop sequence, up into 6th place. He'll be on row 3 for this restart. Maybe we can send it to a one of our commercial breaks here while we're waiting for the race to get restarted. I don't know if you've got one queued up, Carlos. Are we 1 to go now? Yeah, we are. 1 to go. Ryan Lutz, Cameron Rich, Tate Lytle, Chris Wright, and Brandon Scott line it up. Now it's time to see if Ethan Burrell has anything for him, as well as Cameron Rich. Rich looked like he didn't after that last restart.
Yeah, we'll have to see. He had a good restart, but Lutz pull away a little bit. We'll see if he figured something out there on that last restart. Can change it up here for this one.
Also sneaking into the top 7 now is Matthew Weeks. We haven't seen him much all day. He's been kind of hanging out outside the top 10, watching the chaos unfold in front of him.
Chevy Silverado Racing Pacetrack dips away, and Lutz with another great jump.
He is very, very good at picking up restarts and just putting the outside car in a position where they have absolutely no chance of getting to him quickly.
Big run through the corner for Chris Wright to draw even with Tate Lytle. He's stuck on the outside though, along with Burrell. We'll see how those two fare.
Lytle clears right. Maybe not. Ooh, Brandon Scott sideways as well as Richard Lafferty. Those guys all over the place. Rich reeling in Lutz. He's 3/10 back. He has not gotten away like he did last time.
Chris Wright swapping it up now. Here he looks to the inside of Lytle. Couldn't make it work. Burrell down there inside as well.
Whoa! That should have been a caution. Bayuk involved, one of our chase drivers, though not remotely close to the championship at this point in the season.
Matthew Weeks working on the outside of Brandon Scott now, just outside the top 5.
Weeks trying to move forward. And Cameron Rich just looks like he's got something for Lutz every couple of laps. He seems to really beat Lutz to the throttle exiting the corners. I just don't think he can do it consistently enough to get up and pass Ryan Lutz. Dylan Thomas bounced it off the wall again on the straightaway. He's done that a lot this race. I think he's just pushing the edge on running it really close to the fence, and it's kind of hindering him a little bit. Back in the 10th spot now.
Lutz added about half a tenth that time around, so Rich at least kind of keeping him at bay, keeping that gain by Lutz very minimal.
Side by side for 7th, Weeks and Massey going after one another. A couple of guys that haven't been in the top 10 all day long, but are here at crunch time. And if Rich ever does get side by side with Ryan Lutz, I mean, from what we've seen throughout this race, it is so hard to pass when your cars are completely even.
Give and take. Rich gains a little bit on this end of the track. Lutz is able to pull back away through turns 3 and 4. Gap staying about the same.
Ethan Burrell working into P4, now trying to work around Chris Wright. Massey does clear Matthew Weeks for 7th, and Leininger immediately takes advantage, and he'll go side by side. Scott Crump almost crashes. A busy couple of corners there.
Rich cuts it inside 0.2 of a second, gained a whole 1/10 of that lap. Really close through 3 and 4. We'll see if he can do it again this lap.
I just think back to Charlotte. How close was Tate Lytle and Ethan Burrell?
He is there.
How close were Tate Lytle and Ethan Burrell to Ryan Lutz at Charlotte? And Lutz just continued to hold them off and drove away from them right when he wanted to. Cameron Rich has gotten to the back bumper of Ryan Lutz. He's shoving it ever so hard into these corners. But can Rich maintain that enough to pass Ryan Lutz and hold him off?
Good run out of 2. Doesn't close as much in 3 and 4 that time. He'll tuck back in, lead to the state just under, no, actually over 0.2 of a second that time at the line.
Lutz pulling away now a little bit. Was that all that Cameron Rich had? No, he cuts back to the bottom of the track and gains a little more time in turn 2.
Just startled Lutz a little bit, getting to the back of him there.
This is as close as we've seen anybody to Ryan Lutz at one of these short tracks. Here comes Cameron Rich.
He's getting a great run out of turn 2. We'll see if he can get it into 3 and 4. He's closed in a couple times. He's going to draw up to the back bumper. Gives him a little tap.
Oh man, if you're Rich, you can't be afraid to move Ryan Lutz. Ryan Lutz is the championship leader. He's won all the races. He can't come back at you because he can't afford a penalty.
Here he comes. Another run out of 2 down the back stretch again.
He dives it so hard into turns 3 and 4. What a great onboard shot here, just detailing exactly the gap between Ryan Lutz and Cameron Rich. Gerald Campbell and Josh Adams right there, kind of nose to tail in that top groove. We had heard there was some retribution to be had. Doesn't look like any was taken.
Rich just got loose out of turn number 4 there. While they kind of close in, that's a lot. Tate Lytle draw in just a little bit closer. Not quite there, but starting to close the gap just a little bit.
Tate Lytle and Ethan Burrell, 3rd and 4th, those Pro Edge cars, always sneaking up into this top 5 with something to say about this race at the end. 50 laps to go next time by.
The last car, one of the few cars that Lutz would not want to see in his rearview mirror is that 37 of Ethan Burrell.
Yep, Ethan has nothing to lose at this point. The chase has not been kind to him, and he is absolutely looking for race wins at this point, nothing else. Desperation tends to breed that aggressiveness. Cameron Rich has kept Ryan Lutz very close.
And it looked like Lutz might have started to make his way, pull away from Rich there last lap, but out of 2 again, Rich gets that run and closes back in. 50 to go.
50 laps to go, 3/4 of the way through this penultimate race in the ERSCA belly up chase for the cup. And right there is your 2nd place driver, Chris Wright, and behind him is the 3rd place driver in points, Nick Massey. They're all chasing race leader Ryan Lutz for the title. I'll tell you, I think my hypothesis here is that Ryan Lutz has been toying with Cameron Rich.
You know, he likes to do it. He's comfortable. You know, some people would say that maybe Rich is rattling Ryan Lutz. No, there's no way. Lutz is so comfortable right now. He's not bothered by anything going on behind him.
I love the way Ryan Lutz drives as the race leader. I don't think Ryan Lutz ever concerns himself with the rear view mirror. He drives his race every single time. He never changes what he's doing, and he always, goes out to lead every lap. That's his goal every single race, and it works out for him because he's so comfortable when he's up there leading those laps.
He did go about half a lane higher that time in 3 and 4. Don't know if he made a little bit of bobble getting into the corner, but was not on the yellow line that time, was up near that white stripe.
Ooh, Dylan Thomas has spun out. Caution is out. Dylan Thomas has lost the 03. I believe he had some help from a car numbered 51. Is what that looked like. Yep. I think that one was pretty clear. Some of those other ones maybe not so much, but Dylan Thomas and Scott Crump getting together, and I didn't see any other prior contact, so it looks like Crump just dumped Dylan Thomas.
Yep, pretty clear right there.
Emily heads down to go check it out, and we'll see if we can't get a little story from one of these guys. Another look at it here. Scott, oh man, there was some net code there. It looked like Crump was going to hit him either way, though. I'll tell you, I don't know that Josh Adams and Gerald Campbell would have made contact. Or I guess Dylan Thomas and Colin Fambro. I don't know if they would have made contact. But yeah, Ryan Lutz coming down pit road. I did not think he'd be coming to pit again.
Oh, you wonder if maybe Lutz just wants those fresh tires with the pressure he just felt from Cameron Rich.
I think that's absolutely right. And some people are taking 2. Josh Adams takes 2. Chris Wright takes 2 tires.
Rich did not beat him off pit road. I thought it was going to be pretty close. Cameron Rich did not beat him off pit road.
We're going to have to reset things here after pit stops. That was crazy. Emily.
Yes.
What's up?
I just went down. I talked to Dylan Thomas. He said Crump definitely got into him. He said he had tried twice before. I asked him if he kind of felt like Scott was coming for him all race since he made that statement. He said, yeah, that he kind of felt that way. He said he just overdrove the corner there, and the damage on his car is about 1 minute and 2 seconds. So that's the news from Dylan Thomas.
So it looks like, thank you, Emily. Looks like Adams will have the lead. Wright will be in second, and then you'll have Lutz in the third spot.
Yep. And yeah, all of our top 7 right now, playoff contenders, all the way back to Nick Massey in 7th place. Chris Wright with a 2-tire call. And 2 tires in this game is very, very loose. It is very difficult to drive. What's going to happen is Wright and Adams are going to be at a big disadvantage here against Ryan Lutz, but they might be able to block up the track long enough for somebody, maybe Cameron Rich or somebody else, to overtake Ryan Lutz and then sneak on by the 2 front runners for the race lead. Or can can Chris Wright rather beat and bang his way to holding off Ryan Lutz? We'll see.
It's really the only option, right? I mean, if everyone's coming down pit road, he's got to try something different other than Lutz. He can't beat him. I mean, it's been clearly obvious. Nobody's been able to get in front of Lutz today. Got to try something else, and this is kind of almost like a last desperation move here to keep him relevant in the championship.
Yep, I think it was a bit of a desperation move, and Adams and Wright are going to work together here, and I figured they might do that. Adams choosing that top lane, that'll give Chris Wright the bottom. You wonder if Adams and Wright may be devising some way to try to hold off Ryan Lutz. I think they're going to need a cars a lot wider than the 2 that they have right now.
Can they get Cameron Rich in on it as well?
I don't think they're not on the same call, so I doubt it. But I've seen stranger things. They need Cameron Rich to go out there and pressure Ryan Lutz and keep him from putting pressure on Wright and Adams. Here we go.
Chase truck down and away. We are off. Adams definitely getting the better restart than Wright. Wright. Oh, Lutz going to thread it 4 wide. 4 wide into turn 1.
And Ryan Rich doesn't get there. Chris Wright goes up. That's for the championship. He door slams Lutz. Oh, man. Where were they at the time of caution? We're gonna have to keep the cameras on Wright and Lutz there, because Wright drifted up the track a little bit, came back down, and smashed right into the door of Ryan Lutz. Looks like they're giving Chris Wright the lead back. So Wright will have one more chance.
Right, if he really, really wanted to. I mean, it would be a dirty move, but he could have took Lutz out right there. Easily.
I know. That's the question, right? How much is the championship worth to you? I think back to the elite racing season, we had a couple of guys nose to tail for the championship, and that's a very heavily paying championship as well. The championship meant you send it in from however far back. And my hand spins the 13 car. Dylan Thomas has absolutely nowhere to go, plows into it right there. Casey Hatch went around in this. Crash at the back of the field here. We'll go on board with Hatch. I think he braked a little early, tried to lock it down. You saw the spinner right there. Oh, he got hit.
David, this is going to be interesting because Lutz is going to be on the outside of row 1. Rich will be on the inside of row number 2. So we'll see on this restart how this goes.
Dylan Thomas into Fambro. And it's funny, Fambro kind of gets his revenge right there on Dylan Thomas by slamming on the brakes as opposed to actually using the nose.
Let me tell you, that was a really risky move by the points leader, Ryan Lutz, deciding to go 4 wide there.
It was, and he and Rich made it work. They did make contact there between Wright and Lutz, and now Wright and Lutz is going to be up on that top lane. Wright will have that fire-off ability on the bottom. Lutz is going to have the fresher tires. Rich will have fresher tires on the bottom as well. I just wonder if Ryan Lutz, so aggressive, will he make a mistake here? He hasn't made one all chase long.
Oh, and if there was an opportunity to make one, it could have been disaster right there, pushing that 4 wide. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. I have a feeling Chris Wright's going to be aggressive on this restart. He has to be.
Yes, we do. And let's go ahead and get Emily while we're looking at it here.
Hey guys, I just jumped down and chatted with Chris Wright and asked him what kind of contact he had with Ryan Lutz there. He said they definitely bumped doors. I said, he could have taken him out if he really wanted to. And he said that's absolutely not what he wanted to do. The rest of his team said, well, that's not what you said while Emily wasn't here. I think they were just joking with him. Chris said that's absolutely not what he wants to do is wreck somebody like that. But he said definitely this restart here is going to be an interesting one, and he's gunning for it. So. Yep.
4 wide there. We got a view of it. Let's head back to the live pictures and see if Chris Wright can kind of back it up a little here. I didn't know if we were ready to go or not. 1 to go here, coming off turn 2. So the most important restart of the race coming up. We don't want to miss a thing.
Not only that, the most important restart for Chris Wright probably this whole season.
Yep. And Chris is going to have to force the hand of Ryan Lutz, right? He said he didn't want to wreck him, but he's going to have to do something to cause Ryan Lutz to lose some ground here.
Waiting to get the restart. Now he'll go.
Sneaky move by Chris Wright. Gives Kramer and Rich the shot to get under Lutz in turn 1.
And you could tell Lutz was waiting to go. He was trying to edge out there in front of Wright. Wright holds off. Now he's going to pin him up to the wall. 3 wide. Here comes Rich to the inside.
Yep, Rich to the inside. Lutz stuck up on the top. Chris Wright doing everything in his power to battle Ryan Lutz and hold him back. Rich to the race lead.
To the inside.
Massey to the inside of Lutz. And here comes Lutz underneath Rich. What a move by Ryan Lutz.
Rich going to pin to the outside. He's going to try to hold Lutz down to the bottom. Side by side, Rich draws by half a car into 3.
This will be an incredible drive by Ryan Lutz, but Nick Massey is right here now with him as well.
Rich way loose out of turn 4, but he stays door to door coming down the front stretch to the line.
Can Cameron Rich get a run on the outside lane? No, he will. What a run by Rich. He was doing it while sideways.
This is the most pressure Ryan Lutz has felt all season long. Caution on the racetrack.
I think Cameron Rich is the race leader as well. Man, another a pair of bad nights that started out so well for Dylan Thomas and Dallas Myhan. Guys just have not been able to get any luck to here late in the going in this race. Both of them spun out on the last 2 cautions. Super disappointing.
Well, it's disappointing for what we just saw up front, because that might have been the battle of the season between these 4.
I think maybe a little contact there, and then Fambro puts Thomas in the wall. Those guys cannot get away from each other tonight. I know Thomas not a particularly emotional guy, so that's funny, man. They have just, yeah, that's not either of their faults, but they're in the wall together once again, 3rd time tonight. 3 wide, several rows deep. Oh, Josh Clark, the one who gets a little bit into the Dallas Myhan machine.
David, I know you said that Ryan Lutz is usually pretty calm under pressure. He might have been feeling it there a little bit during that run.
Yeah, that was the closest anyone's come to really putting challenge down on Ryan Lutz, and Cameron Rich was able to hold him off until the next caution. I just know Ryan Lutz, he either is, way too out of control or he's under control, and there's like no in between with him. So I can only wager that Lutz is completely in control as per usual.
Well, but he was feeling it from every angle there. He had Chris Wright up high behind him, Massey underneath him, or looking to go underneath him, and Rich hanging on his door panel there. They had that 36 car surrounded, and he's going to be stuck on the outside here. We'll see if Massey can get a run and try to get underneath him here on the restart as well.
It's going to be a wild maybe final restart. We thought the last one might be the final restart, but Richmond is rearing its short track potential there. Later in this race, we had those long green flag runs for the first 150 laps or so. And since about then, we've had caution after caution. Guys trying to do a little too much in the back of the field. But, I mean, that's creating some intense restart racing. And at this point, I mean, Cameron Rich is sitting in the catbird seat. As long as you can keep getting the lead on these restarts, that puts you right in the driver's seat to win this race. It's where Ryan Lutz had been all race long, and it was the 2-tire call by Josh Adams and Chris Wright that got him out of that rhythm and in the lead.
I mean, we've talked about it, right? By halfway of Las Vegas, most likely, something goes haywire here. Lutz would pretty much lock up the championship. But, I mean, this could be, if he somehow pulls this out with all this pressure, a championship winning move. I mean, obviously there's guys behind him that still have somewhat of a shot, but still, this would be a huge win for him.
Yep. It absolutely would. Getting ready to go. I believe we're coming to 1 to go here. I know Cameron Rich will be starting on that inside line, and can Cameron Rich and Nick Massey time it up to where Massey can get by Ryan Lutz here? Certainly ways to communicate if you're Cameron Rich and Nick Massey. I mean, Massey and Wright both know the only chance they have is if that 36 car is well behind them at the end of this race. They have to have him back there next week at Vegas. Going, 25 to go here at the restart, 26 laps to go for all the marbles.
And it may even take something here today and something at Vegas for them to win.
Yep, well, it says a huge gap. Rich goes really early. Massey not able to capitalize on that whatsoever, and Rich will have Lutz completely cleared entering turn 1.
Ryan Lutz for the first time today finds
contact between.
Lido gets shoved way up the racetrack.
Nick and Delicato buried it in there, and it cost Ethan Burrell the most out of anybody in this top 5.
As I was saying, Lutz finding himself in second place for the first time today. Can he run down Cameron Rich, who's gave him the biggest challenge all night long? Can he get back around him and get back to the race lead?
Well, I know what everybody's cheering for at home, and it's for Carlos to get a pick correct, given that he's gone only with Cameron Rich through the first races that he's done producing for us, and that's where my cheers lie here right now.
Yeah, we've continuously. See that Hanshaw that spun out there in the back? Gets it rolling again. Dylan Thomas, we're getting word from Carlos, having more trouble, and he's finally just going to call it a night. He's going to take it to the garage and say he's done here at Richmond.
Miserable night for both of those guys. Replay on top, live screen on the bottom left. Oh, both live, says Carlos. Big battles throughout the pack. Hank Steinmiller, Michael Goodman, Harrison Talon all battling it out for about 15th to 20th.
Tate just hit the wall down the backstretch. That's going to allow Damian Leininger to get to the inside of him.
Damian going for a top 5 run here in the 12 car. That's all I'm going to say about that. Try not to jinx poor Damian. Cameron Rich and Ryan Lutz, they are nose to tail, and Lutz is about as far away from Rich as Rich was from Lutz earlier in the run, that last run before the flurry of cautions.
So going back to Carlos's pick, we switch it up every week. David, Emily, and I seem to, or sometimes we stick with the same guy, but no one showed more dedication than Carlos has, and he's 20 laps away from having his dedication pay off.
Kyle Hanshaw's, and oh man, he's going to be okay on the apron there, but Ryan Lutz to check up a little bit, I think, entering that corner. Couldn't dive it in like he wanted to. Opened up the lead for Rich a little bit, up to 4/10.
After the bad restart, Nick Massey starting to close back in now on these front two. Right, just a few cars, 6-7 car lengths maybe back from Nick Massey, trying to close back in and make it a 4-car race up front.
Can Nick Massey move Ryan Lutz for that second spot? Again, that's the biggest question mark. Oh, contact sideways is Robin and Crump.
They're going to get together again.
They saved
together, but they get it rolling again.
That's a great work by this league, checking up for the wreck that didn't happen. Still 3 wide, though.
And going back to your point, David, we know that Lutz and Massey are 2 of the cleanest racers we have out here, but if you're Nick Massey, like we said all night long with any of these points guys, you got to use the bumper at this point.
Clark in the wall, that'll be a caution. Carlos says that might be payback, and who spun it? My hand. That's right. My hand did get spun by Clark earlier in the race. I'm always looking for the stories, Carlos. We gotta stir the pot here in the booth. The tape tells all, and I think, well, Johnny just. I don't think Johnny was trying to wreck Josh there. We haven't seen any bad blood between those guys. Yeah, Josh got really checked up behind Kyle Hanshaw there twice, actually. And in doing so, Johnny was looking to run the top lane. Just ran right in the back of Josh. Oh! And that, deking to pit road. Chris Wright is going to come to pit road. Yep. So Wright has to change those 2 tires out for 4.
I was going to say Wright probably has to come with those 2 tires.
And hey, maybe that call works out for Chris Wright, and he has a chance to make some moves here. I mean, a lot of cars come down pit road. Wright will only lose about 10 positions. It is difficult to pass, but maybe that little bit of extra fresh rubber is enough to give Chris Wright enough speed to get up there and challenge those guys for the win if he gets a couple of cautions here and gets a couple of restarts.
And we're all playing games, though. Rich had no intentions on coming down pit road. Lutz thought about it, tried to get Massey to commit. Massey did the same thing, and it was Wright was the first one to bite and come down pit road.
Yep. Smart by Cameron Rich, smart by Ryan Lutz. I think these guys have made the race-winning call, and now it's just a matter of getting onto the gas first, finding a way to get the lead, get that track position, because that's going to determine the race winner here. I think these restarts and your ability to go well and get out to a good lead. Clean air has been the king tonight. Whoever had it has been able to pull away, whether that be Rich or Lutz. So now it's a matter of finding out which one can win on this restart. We did see Nick and Delicato go throwing it in there from 6th place last time, and it cost Ethan Burrell a couple of spots. Now Burrell will be on the bottom of Nick and Delicato. The short tracks bring out the worst in all of us. The announcers are expecting people to wreck each other. The drivers on track are bouncing off each other and saying, "Oh yeah, he ran into me."
Short track, and then you put it on top of the second to last race of the season.
Yep, championship aspirations, battles, guys who are now just out for wins, like Nick and Delicato, like Damian Leininger, like Cameron Rich, really. I have to quickly check. I think Rich is just out of the ability to win this championship still. I think he's too far back now. At 45 points back, I think Rich is out here just trying to win the race and hope that that's enough to keep him alive next week, and then hope for big trouble from Ryan Lutz. We had 6 cars within 46 points of the race leader, but I think only 3 of them really had any sort of actual chance. Still, though, well over 50 points available next week. If an early crash takes out Ryan Lutz, that could change everything.
We still got 12 laps left to go here, too. We'll see. If someone decides to try to dive bomb it or whatever. Who knows what could happen to that 36 car.
Yep, Ryan Lutz and Cameron Rich side by side. Maybe the final restart of the race. 12 laps to go.
You said that for the last 3 restarts today.
It's always maybe the final restart. Here goes Rich. And Lutz got to the gas really quickly behind him. He's going to have a shot.
Massey not that good of a restart again. He'll dive it on into turn 1 and 2, though. Try to gain that ground back. Lytle stuck on the outside, battling for the 3rd spot.
Cameron Rich has just been able to do whatever he wants here as Delicato goes for 3 wide. Well behind the battle for the lead. It's down to the top 2 now. Ryan Lutz just on the back bumper of Cameron Rich. Monitoring the progress of Chris Wright and Matthew Weeks through the field on fresh tires. It's going to be difficult for them to make passes, but Wright already up to about 11th place. One in the inside wall. Josh Adams. That will bring out the caution, I believe. Richard Hines directly into him. I think that was Hines, pretty sure.
I mean, unless people come pit, that might be the nail in the coffin for Chris Wright.
I think Wright needs to stack him up every single lap here. He doesn't need these longer green flag runs because that gets him trapped on the high side.
I'm just thinking there's not enough laps.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever enough laps, but I mean, the only chance he has is we get 3 green-white checkers, and he picks up 2 or 3 spots every restart and ends up 4th at the end, where he can make a move. But that's still dreaming a lot. On board from poor Richard Hines, absolutely nowhere to go.
Well, you know, at least the top 5 are not going to come down pit road.
Yeah, absolutely not. Not at this point. No chance. I think everybody stayed out there. Right up to 12th. So that was a solid, 6 spots gained for the 69 car. He needs to do that again. He needs to restart. Let's say they go for 2 more laps and get another caution. He needs to restart 6th the next time.
If he does that and we still have about 5 to go, you could have a chance.
Right. That's what's required. Miracles are required for Chris Wright to win this race right now. But stranger things have happened in auto racing. So has somebody catching and passing Ryan Lutz, and that's happened today, and I am legitimately shocked. I really thought no one would have any shot at running with Ryan Lutz, but Cameron Rich has been otherworldly impressive so far tonight.
Rich going to have to pull another trick out of the hat here on the restart. 3rd time he's going to lead Ryan Lutz to the green flag. See what he decides to do this time on the restart. See if he can get another good jump on Lutz. Looks
And I
like
think he
Lytle,
absolutely will.
Lytle was able to get around Massey here on that last little short run, so he'll restart in the 3rd position.
Yep. So Lytle being in front of Massey is actually kind of big news because Tate Lytle not really in the same spot as Massey. Massey still has that desperation attempt at getting that championship and, having to maybe bypass Ryan Lutz and try to maybe fight his teammate Chris Wright next week for the championship. Lytle not so much, and with that 3rd spot, you can technically try to run it in on that car on the outside on the restart in turn 1 and move them out of the way, cost them some positions. Massey doesn't really have that ability now. Should he go that route? We heard Chris Wright come on and talk to Emily about it, and he said he didn't want to run that way. He didn't want to win that way. He wants to beat Ryan Lutz on speed. The bumper's probably the only thing that's going to prevent Ryan Lutz from winning this championship, and it just depends on whether or not anybody's willing to use it.
Only problem is it might be too late by the time they actually decide to use it.
Right. A 20-point lead for Lutz. Really, it's about a 25-point lead at this point. How many spots could he realistically lose? 15, 20? Well, Massey and Wright wouldn't gain all of those points, so it could still be a 10-point, 12-point gap, even if Lutz were to fall all the way back. Here we go. 5 laps to go. When we hit the line, it's all down to this. Another crazy finish from the ERSCA series.
5-lap shootout here for Cameron Rich and Ryan Lutz. They took turns leading. Who's going to get it this time?
Lutz got a good jump on that restart. He'll clear Tate Lytle down into turn 1. He'll have every shot to get after Cameron Rich here.
Lytle drove it in deep into turn 1, pushed Massey up the hill. Here comes Indelicato behind him.
The battles between the top 2. The back 3 have just battled together too much. They've opened up the gap. Steinmiller sideways on the bottom. Will it be a caution? It will be because, well, maybe not. Ryan Lutz has got to keep trying. They're 5 wide on the front straightaway at Richmond. Oh, my.
Bouncing
Still 3
off.
wide. Still bouncing off each other. Can Lutz get Rich before the caution?
They're rocking Crump into the wall.
There's the caution. Scott Crump wrecks. That was destined to be a caution. That racing was absolutely unstoppable. You can't just keep that up. 5, 6 wide at Richmond. Oh, my.
Wright only got to the 10th position.
Yeah, maybe Marshall Stanley tries to pit. I don't know. We will go to overtime here. Oh, man. Lafferty into the wall. Into Crump. Into Fambro. Into Key. And then I think Richard Hines spun out there after. I think we definitely need to go back and take a look at that 5 wide scenario on the front straightaway, though. That was truly something else.
That situation was coming for about a lap and a half.
They were going after it. They're trying to take everything they can. Here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars in a line. I think they were truly 4 wide without wrecking. Until there. Man, oh man.
There's a strong left turn there by Lafferty and everybody goes around.
Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Crump gets loose. Almost good.
Right there.
Good
There it is.
out, and then there's the 6 wide.
Oh my.
And here you go. Coming out of the corner. That's not going to work. Lafferty bounces it off the wall, and here we go.
It was gonna work though. That's the amazing thing. They had it. They had it without wrecking. And I think this is really bad news for Ryan Lutz if he wants to win this race. I think Lutz needs 2 or 3 laps to get to Cameron Rich's back bumper. He needs that time to build up the run and get underneath the 47 car. Because the 47 is going to have such a big gap on that restart unless Lutz can time it up well enough to jump it. But then Lutz can't risk getting a black flag. he'd fall so far back, he would lose a lot of that points lead he's gained.
I think right now for Lutz, it's just championship conservation mode right now. Like a second place is better than putting yourself in a risky situation for the win.
It's the big prize, the big picture is what Ryan Lutz does. It is needs to be focused on here. And
like you mentioned earlier, Rich is in the championship. He's fighting for it, but most likely pretty well on the outside looking in. So not someone that Lutz has to really worry about. And he's got Wright and Massey behind him. So he's got to feel pretty good about the position he's in at the moment.
Yep. So we have 2 green-white checkers. So this will be the first one. So there's only 2 more of these potentially available. And if the leaders do get around to take the white flag, then the next thing that ends the race will be the checkered flag. So it's a matter of really getting through one lap before crashing again. And even if they do crash again, the leaders can come all the way around and complete the race.
David, I was trying to...
We won't hit that.
I was trying to think. We haven't really had too many green-white checkered finishes this season. I know we had one at Daytona, Iowa,
Homestead.
Maybe you probably have better.
I think that was those were the only 3, and I think maybe Homestead's was like a 5-lap shootout. So it might not have been, but we were close. Like late race restarts, we've only had a couple of them this season. Been a lot of green flag racing in the ERSCA series. Here's one green-white checkered, and Cameron Rich gets going early.
Same restart we've seen about the last 4 times. Maybe Rich got a little bit better of a jump even that time. Look at Indelicato. He's going to drive it down in there deep. Look for that 3rd spot on Tate Lytle, and he's going to hold the position coming out of turn 2 and down the backstretch.
Oh, they're crashing in the back. Matthew Weeks involved. Joe Francis involved. Second green-white checkered will be used.
This will be the last attempt at it.
Matthew Weeks got turned head on in the inside into the outside wall there. What's Josh Robin doing here? I think he's just taking a spot back.
How close were we? We had to be kind of close to the...
Bang! Joe Francis hard into Weeks there. Matthew Weeks didn't have a scratch on that 11 car before that.
Were we coming out of turn 3, middle of turn 4? Not close? Okay.
It's like Gerald Campbell also hit pretty hard there. Yeah.
All right, so we still had a good distance, yeah.
I once covered a race where a car, the caution came out, the car was fractions of an inch from hitting the line. iRacing throws the caution right before the white flag hits. Freezes the field. No green-white checkered. That car lost the race. So one more opportunity for Ryan Lutz to get after Cameron Rich. If the caution comes out on the first lap, the race is over. Otherwise, this thing will end after this restart. It is actually the final restart of the night.
About the 5th time's the right time, right, David?
I know. I thought we maybe just go green, but no. Crazy restarts.
Well, we went the first 70 or so laps green flag racing since then. A few cautions, hasn't been horrible, but it's definitely made it entertaining. Lutz is going to have to figure something out here because Rich has had his number the last 4 or 5 restarts.
Yep. He's going to have to jump it if he wants to get the win, or he needs to hang so close to the left rear of Rich that once Rich goes, he needs to make some contact with him and force Rich to get out of the throttle a little bit. It's about the only way it's going to happen for Ryan Lutz, and in that case, you risk your car bouncing off sideways and going to the outside wall, or that car spinning. Various issues with all of Ryan Lutz's potential strategies available to him right here.
A good thing for Lutz, though, has been each of the last 2 or 3 restarts now, Nick Massey has lost at least 1 spot. He's back to the 5th position now.
Chris Wright is up to 9th. So Wright probably not a factor on this final restart, but he does have the freshest tires in this top 10. So worth mentioning. Cameron Rich, Ryan Lutz, Tate Lytle, Nick Indelicato, Nick Massey, Ethan Burrell, the top 6 that'll be battling it out to win this race. And the leader has just such a stronghold over that restart zone. It's going to be very tough for Ryan Lutz and Cameron Rich for Ryan Lutz to keep up with Cameron Rich. He's going to have to just figure out something else. He needs an extra gear on this restart. Just needs to jump it a little better. Something.
Here we go. The final attempt here at Richmond.
And potentially a championship sealing final restart for the 36 car of Ryan Lutz.
And the conclusion of the Buttkicker short track showdown.
Yep, that is a battle between Chris Wright and Massey. Here we go. Lutz doesn't get nearly the start I think he needs to win this thing.
Watching Delicato here. He's been aggressive on restarts. He's stuck on the outside, though.
Lutz is pretty close. Lutz would have to throw it in to bounce. Oh, Delicato at the wall. Lutz would have to throw it in and bounce it off the rear bumper of the 47 car. I think he might just be focused on a championship here.
I think Lutz will settle for second. White flag in the air. We will finish this thing out. Cameron Rich sends it off into 1 and 2. Lutz drives it in. Not overly aggressive, though.
Yep, Ryan Lutz thinking big picture racing here. A chaotic race at Richmond. Cameron Rich drove it up to the lead from way in the back. He will win at Richmond in a marvelous performance by the 47, and they crash behind.
Maybe a championship winning move by Ryan Lutz to just hang on for a second place finish tonight. And Nick Massey will finish ahead of Chris Wright, so most likely that will give him the Buttkicker short track showdown trophy.
Yeah, we can do this math. Okay, wait. Massey was 7 points. He was 3 points ahead of Wright after the halfway point. So I believe because he finished 3 points ahead of Wright anyway, that's a 6-point gap. Lutz isn't going to make that up. Maybe. Lutz needed to make up 22. So, Lutz needed to make up 16. I think it's going to be close between Lutz and Massey.
Well, he made
Wright
up.
is officially out.
Lutz made up 9 with the halfway points, right?
Right.
So that puts it.
That puts
7.
him at 7 back. And then Massey finished 6th.
So I think
is
that's
what?
4 points. 3 points. I think Nick Massey won it by.
He might have gotten it, though. We might have a bonus for the winner.
And what about, does he get any bonus points for leading
40.
laps in that too?
No. Yeah, laps led. We didn't factor those in either. Oh boy. Well,
It
we're
could-
just gonna let them. We're gonna let them take it over. I think
it
we'll
could-
announce it when they post the results.
It could literally be a point separating these two.
Yeah, for that Buttkicker short track challenge winner. I see Ryan Lutz is in the waiting room. Emily, why don't you bring him up and let's talk to him?
All right. This is our second place finisher, Ryan Lutz. Hey, Ryan, do you have a copy?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I just want to chat with you about all of those restarts there. Obviously, they're so important, especially at the end of the race. Kind of what was your strategy on those? What were your kind of reactions on how you did tonight with that?
Restarts were pretty treacherous, but I mean, I burned it up a little bit in the beginning of that run, and we were way better than them on the long run, and just needed a long run at the end, and really lacked short run speed today. And I knew when the caution started coming out that we were going to settle for something there, and at that point it was just big picture racing and just trying to capitalize on a good points day, and that's what we did, and we should have a really good gap into Vegas next week. But a little disappointed. Thought we should be in the winner circle tonight, but I mean, you can't win them all. It's I'd rather win the battle, or I'd rather win the war than the battles.
For sure. Yeah, that's one thing that the guys mentioned, that you were probably looking at just conservation at this point, not necessarily going for the win here. Is that where your mind was those last few laps?
Yeah, I had the one side of me tell me, move them, you got a shot, and then the other side of me is, we're points race, don't want to do that. And if it was a regular season race, I probably could have moved them and boogered them up a little bit and probably had a shot at it, made it interesting, but it just ain't worth it for me right now. We had a really good points day. We maxed points out. Should be pretty stress free going into Vegas.
How are you kind of feeling going into that race? The guys were trying to do the math to see if it was already determined or not. We did not get an answer before you came in. So how are you kind of feeling going into the last race here for the chase?
Pretty good. It should be. I believe it'll be Chris Wright by, I think, 29 will be the gap going into Vegas. I believe is what Damien was telling me. But either way, we just got to go out there and run in the top 10.
Yeah.
Just get some stage points and finish in the top 10, and that should be all we need to do. And Vegas is a pretty good track for me. I'm usually pretty good there, and hopefully we'll do okay and just come away a champion.
Well, I do have to say that I picked you as the winner tonight, so I think I did pretty
That's
good.
what did it.
Totally jinxing, right? Because you're back in the top, right? So that's pretty good.
yeah. We, like I said, we had a really good long run car. They had nothing for us in the long run, and 3/4 of the race, I was just playing with them. Every guy that was in second, I was honestly half throttle down the straightaway, waiting for them to catch up to me to have them burn up. But we didn't get that lucky there at the end, and just hung on to second.
Before we let you go, are there any shout outs you'd like to give tonight?
Yeah, of course. You, Emily, Dom, David, Carlos. Your broadcasts are awesome. Everyone at Apex Sim Racing, Damien Leinecker, Hank, Dylan, Goodman, everyone that helps me every week. Miss Goodies, Baffler Podcast, Natural Designs, Harpoon Designs. It's pretty cool to be in a league sponsored by them. Belly Up Sports. My girlfriend, she's watching. Just everyone that puts this deal together. I'm really looking forward to going into next week and just having a solid run, and hopefully we'll come away a champion.
Awesome. Well, we are definitely looking forward to it too. Thanks for the time tonight, Ryan, and congratulations on coming in second.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
All right, guys. Now I'm going to bring in the third place finisher, Tate Lytle. Hey, Tate, do you have a copy?
Hey, go ahead.
Hey, so I want to start by saying I believe David picked you to win tonight. So did that kind of give you a little bit more confidence coming out here on this one?
Man, if I would have known that before the race, I probably would have won by 4 seconds. No, David's obviously never seen Cam and Lutz and Massey run this track, so I felt like I was fourth best, so I was pumped to come home third.
Well, the fact that there's only one race left in the chase, did you kind of feel like this one was a little bit more intense out there?
It wasn't until it was. There was some tempers. I was in chat with Clark, and it sounded like him and Hanshaw were going rounds back there, so that I'm sure you guys got a good show there. Too bad we had so many cautions there, and the cautions were heinously long, so hope you guys were able to occupy yourselves while we were pacing around the track. But yeah, glad I was able to come home third. I thought Indelicato was going to ship me into one that one time, and then I thought he was way faster than he ended up being on that last run, so I was kind of expecting him to yard me, but I think he was just overdriving it and got in the fence off of 2, and yeah, able to come home third. I kind of wish Lutz wasn't points racing though, because I know Lutz, and he would have at least tried to give Cam the bumper, and that would have opened the door for me. So, but
I know.
I think if Lutz didn't quite clinch it, he might as well have. So, congrats to Lutz. That dude's drove his ass off all year, and he deserves it for sure. But hopefully, next week, one more week, we can do some battle and hopefully get ourselves up in the top 3 or 4 in points.
Yeah. Would you say that there was a turning point for you in this race tonight?
In this race? When that caution came out on like lap 80. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I broke even. I feel like I was going to come home third. Either way, either way you stacked it, but this one took about 30 minutes longer and it was a lot more stressful. So.
Well, Vegas next week, you kind of mentioned it, that it looks like Ryan has a pretty good shot at it, but what's your strategy going into that one to at least make it a little difficult for him to win the chase?
Oh, there's nothing I can do about Lutz. He might have, there might be one or two guys that have a chance at him. I am not one of those one or two guys. So I just got to go out there and try and win the race and see what we can't do. And, you know, more than anything, just have fun. This league's awesome. Johnny does a great job. He tries to tell people I help him, but I really just kind of listen to his ideas and say, yeah, that sounds awesome. So he does all the dirty work. So congrats to Johnny. One more week, and yeah, we'll have season 2 of ERSCA done. And it's crazy how fast the season went.
I know.
I've done an ERSCA race in about 3 different states, 3 different houses, and I don't know. It just feels like still only feels like a short season. So.
Well, before we let you go, Tate, are there any shout-outs you would like to give?
Yeah, Brent Wentz, Days Gone By. I got the Antiques and Automobilia paint scheme on for the chase, so go check him out. He's got a lot of cool stuff out there, and I don't think my dad's watching tonight, but if he is, shout out to Dad. He's been firefighting the. I mean, we've had some bad fires up here in Southern Oregon. Just as soon as the guy got a day off on Sunday, a new one started. So he's back up there fighting fires. So thanks to him and all the guys out there putting their lives at danger. So hopefully, you know, those people around it don't have to put theirs in danger. So shout out to those guys, and shout out to you guys for broadcasting the race.
Yeah, definitely thinking about your dad. Hoping the best for all those guys out there. Thanks for the time tonight, Tate, and congratulations on coming in third.
Yeah, big P3.
All right, guys, and I'm going to try and bring in our race winner, Cameron Rich. Hey, Cameron, do you have a copy?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, so I want to start by saying Carlos, our producer, has picked you for about every single race that he's been in to be the winner. You finally came out on top. How do you feel about letting Carlos get a victory here tonight?
I'm really happy that I made my former boss happy. So, Carlos, bless your heart for picking me all those last weeks. I'm sorry. I was really consistent, but I just couldn't get the win. But tonight, finally, I couldn't pick a better track to get this win at. I'm so happy. Like, I live, 20 minutes away from here, and been to so many races in real life here, and so no place I'd rather win, honestly.
Awesome. I love that. I wanted to talk about how this track suited your driving style so well. Is it because the close proximity, you've been there, you've seen it? Why were you so successful out there tonight?
I really could, I don't know, I could say something about how I was practicing all here and there, but honestly, I hadn't done any practice all week. I've been working my ass off, and sorry for my language, working my butt off, and just haven't had time. And I got in tonight. Honestly, I sent it off in there in turn 1 on my qualifying laps, and I spun out both times. I was like, dear God, this is going to be a bad race. But I've usually been pretty good here. I'm not sure what it is. A lot of trail braking, a lot of, keeping the rear tires from the car. I like that kind of stuff. When cars don't turn, I'm not happy, so I don't tend to do well. But it was really nice tonight. I had that high line working pretty well up in 3 and 4, and sometimes through turn 2, I could get some runs on people. I held Ryan off there for a couple laps up there, but there was grip up there. You just had to go up there and find it a little bit. It's pretty fun to search around the track. But last week was a tough pill to swallow after tonight, because I think I would have been giving Ryan a fight for his money going into Vegas, but I don't think the planets aligned for that one. I think I'm a little bit out of the realm of contention, but it's been a good year nonetheless.
Yeah, well, speaking of Ryan, I know he was leading the race for quite a while there. How were you able to get past him and hold him off all those laps, especially with all those restarts that we had in there?
I was really just trying to time the restarts. I know he's brilliant. He can drive a car fast anywhere. Dude can do anything. So I just knew that I had to kind of outsmart him a little bit and kind of hope and pray, Of course, he knows all the tricks in the book, like me and all the other fast guys know. We know what to do, so we're all just trying to juke each other out. Just had a little bit of advantage on the bottom line there on the restart to jump him just a little bit. And he was so good off in there in the turn 1 on those restarts. I'm really surprised that he did not get me there on the last one. I think he almost hit me. So he could just send it off in there, but I got the run through too and was able to kind of gap him off there a little bit. But really, I just think consistency on that long run, that's kind of where I kind of ran him down there and was able to do some stuff there. I think just like I said, keeping the rear tires on the car, I think that was the key, you know, just consistency. This track's all about making sure the lines you run every lap are the same. You don't slide the rears or the fronts too much. Just keeping the tires in the car, keep it smooth, and don't do anything stupid.
Before we let you go tonight, Cam, are there any shout-outs you would like to give?
Absolutely. Of course, Brantley Roden, Harpoon Designs for this beautiful car. I wish I could get it into Victory Lane more this year, but I think number 3, that's pretty good. Maybe we can get 4 next week. And Kyle Hanshaw, of course, my team owner. Always pumping me up during the race. Love race with him. Been racing with him for quite a while now, so I appreciate him. And then both Johnnies, Thomas and Eckert, for running this league and all that. And of course, 3x TV. You guys are awesome. As always, love it. I guess I've commentated with you guys before, and it's always been a pleasure to be on both sides of the booth. So kind of be on the receiving end of an interview is pretty cool too.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for the time tonight, Cam, and congratulations on winning this thing here tonight.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you, Emily. David, if I'm seeing this right, I think it is official now. Nick Massey will win the Buttkicker Short Track Showdown Championship by a total of 9 points over Cameron Rich.
That is, oof, man. So I wonder if the points are a little different for the short track challenge. I guess maybe that's kind of the question, maybe for Johnny Thomas later. But as it stands, 30 points from Ryan Lutz to Chris Wright, about 50 points available total. Maybe 53 if you win the pole, lead the most laps, win the halfway stage, and win the race. 53 points total. So anyone within 53 has a mathematical chance to win the championship still. That eliminates regular season champion Ethan Burrell. He's 57 back right now. That means that Tate Lytle, Cameron Rich, Nick Massey, and Chris Wright all still alive, but they're going to need Ryan Lutz to have a disaster of a race in order to do anything about it. So Las Vegas next week should clinch things up, and we kind of expect Ryan Lutz to finish him out strong.
Yeah, if we had a bet to put down on this race, everyone would be putting their money down on Ryan Lutz because, one, it would take quite the run by one of those 4 guys behind him to even sweep the day, and then you have to have the luck that Lutz has got to have some trouble. And he's just shown no matter where we go, he's going to run consistent and be in the top 5, let alone the top 10.
Lutz had some races early in the season that he had some issues. I think back to Bristol early in the year, but at these short tracks and at these mile-and-a-half tracks, he's been one of the top 2 or 3 drivers every single week. And I just look at this chase, right? Second, first, 8th, 7th, second. That's how you win a championship right there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's his championship to lose.
So with that, let's get some final thoughts. Emily, what you got for us? Penultimate race.
Definitely a lot more cautions than I thought there were going to be. Like we mentioned before the race started, I thought it was going to be a very clean one, but proved me wrong. But that's okay. I'm glad that I was able to chat with the guys, get some reactions there. We're very much looking forward to the last race. I'm sure we're all going to be gunning for who gets to pick first on who's going to finish, because Ryan Lutz, of course, is going to be one of the popular picks. And congratulations to Carlos, I have to say, on finally winning one here and picking Cameron Rich for the winner. So, fun one tonight. Can't wait for next week.
Yeah, and I think that's about sums it up for me, too. I'm excited to see this thing finish off. We've had a wonderful season of racing so far. A lot of really dramatic finishes. I especially think of the last 2 weeks alone, right? A green-white checkered finish here tonight, and then last week that photo finish between Kendall Noah Player and Scott Crump. Just an awesome couple of races and a whole season's worth of awesome races so far. I'm excited. And then one last thing is that next year we have to keep track of who wins each week on the picking front.
Yeah, David, I was already thinking about that, of keeping track about that, and I think it would be fun to also maybe first race out pick who you think might win the championship and have an overall winner as well. So no, I feel like we've had good racing through all, but I feel like the last few races here, the championship has definitely been very exciting, and it didn't really seem like it was going to set up that way, but the way this one finished out really did turn out to be a really good race at the end.
As they tend to be here in the ERSCA series. So with that, from 3 Wide TV and Belly Up Sports, for Carlos Acosta, Dom Santina, and Emily Harlan, this has been the ERSCA series presented by Belly Up Sports, the Buttkicker 200 from Richmond. Good night, everybody.